about self-drive boating holidays in Europe. My name's Jenny Wade and I'm one of the directors here at Blue Water Holidays. We're an award-winning UK-based agency specialising in both cruising and boating holidays. In fact, we're the UK's #1 boating holiday agency and have been providing self-drive boat hire in the UK and Europe since 1998. And we now offer a choice of over 3,000 different boating holidays. But why is boating holiday a great way to explore Europe? Well, hopefully this talk will give you a little more insight into the benefits. Joining me today to help explain, I've got two experts in boating holidays from leading European self-drive boat hire company LeBoat. So we have Pierre, who is the sales manager for UK and South Europe. And we also have Julia Thornhill, who's head of partnership and business development. So Pierre and Julia, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jenny.
Well, thank you very much.
Julia, do you want to start by giving us a brief overview about LeBoat?
Yes, of course. I mean, LeBoat has been going for over 50 years now, and we are the market leader in the UK, Canada and Europe for self-drive boating holidays, allowing our customers to explore all the rivers, the canals and the lakes of all the destinations that we travel to. There isn't any license required to go on a LeBoat holiday, and it's perfect whether you're going on a romantic break for two, whether you're going with the family, whether it's a multi-generational trip, maybe a trip with friends. And also remember that man's best friend is actually welcome on a LeBoat holiday as well. We can take up to 2 dogs on any of our boats, and the sales team will obviously be able to advise you on where the best places are to go with your furry friends. So, you know, we do go to France, we go to Italy, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, Ireland, England, Scotland and Canada. And we also have over 35 bases, so some amazing places to go. So whether your choice is a staycation for 2022 or whether or not you want to go overseas and explore Europe or Canada, we are the company to go for. We have lots of new boaters, and again, we'll discuss that during this webinar. But please don't be daunted by the fact that you're going to set off on your own little boat and your own adventure, because that's what we're here to do, to help you every step of the way.
Well, that's a brilliant overview there, Julia. And actually, you led on to a couple of pointers there, which was really sort of the idea behind this webinar, because although I've been with Blue Water Holidays for almost 15 years now, I've always been involved in the cruising side of things rather than the boating side of things. So although I work with a team of boating experts, my knowledge on boating holidays is relatively limited. And it wasn't until I started looking at the possibilities, because I like adventure, I like visiting new places, being outdoors, traveling abroad, looked at this as a possibility of for my own holiday, that I actually started to think, I wonder if other people have these sorts of questions and hesitations before booking, and hence this webinar was born. So I think probably the first thing that me and my partner discussed when we were talking about a boating holiday was driving the boat. And neither of us have got experience in driving a boat. And I think you touched on this briefly when you said you don't require a license. So we don't need a license and we don't need any experience. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And Pierre can expand on just why we're perfect for new to boaters.
You know, that's a perfect point, Jenny. And you know, myself, when I joined LeBoat 8 years ago, I took a boat myself, and I never did any boating before. I went to the base, so I arrived at the yard. I had a tuition with one of the locals, so he made sure I was really comfortable before I start leaving with my crew. And I always remember what he told me. He said, when you're going to feel really comfortable, you're going to try to go faster, realize you're at full speed, and then you're going to relax and enjoy your cruise. And that's exactly what happened. I was 5 minutes after I was comfortable, I was like, oh, okay, let's go faster. I tried going faster, realized I was at full speed. So you just lie back, drive and enjoy yourself, visit the countryside.
Excellent. And you mentioned there a tutorial, Pierre. So how long is a tutorial? And if no one has any experience whatsoever, that's taken care of in this tutorial. It's
absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, it will take as long as needed depending on the customers. So, people who are quite confident, it can last 30 minutes. And people who need a bit more time, the base will really make sure that everybody, when they leave, they're comfortable to drive the boat their own. And even the base, depending of the needs and the distances, can take some of the customers through the first lock to make sure they are really comfortable going through a lock as well. So, no, we make care that our customers, when they leave, are really comfortable by driving the boat.
That's great. That'd be really important to me. And what about if something were to happen when I was on the boat? If something didn't work properly, it could even be, I understand that they have facilities on board. So if it was like the oven didn't work or the toilet didn't work, would I have to go back to the base that I picked the boat up from, or is there some kind of service where somebody would go out to the boat?
So it would really depend where the customer is, but with it, there's phone numbers on board. So you would probably first call the base where you first left from, and then they would ask you for where you are on the waterway, and then they would sort of guide you to the nearest base if needed. And also, depending on where you are cruising, for example, in France, we have a helpline. So they are available out of hours as well to make sure you are comfortable. And often, the feedback from the helpline is that often it is that the customer can't find the forks, for example. We have some funny little facts where we just reassure them, guide them in the boat, and problem solved immediately. And if there is something that requires a technician, we will make sure that one comes to the base, to the boat, and fix it. Myself, I've done probably over 10 cruises now, and I had one issue where going through a lock, something probably caught just under the boat, and I had a little incident, and a technician came out, fixed the boat. We lost maybe sort of an hour on our cruise on the first day, and we were upset, but he came, solved it, and we went on, and we had no issues until the rest of our cruise. We even sort of had a beer with him before we let him go. We were so,
Yeah.
he did a really great job, and that was. And after, in the evening, we laughed about it. It's, like I say, things can happen, but over 10 cruises, I had just one small incident. So customers can be reassured it's not something that happens every day.
That's exactly it. It is that reassurance, isn't it? Knowing that if something does happen, there is help on hand.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think it's also important to know that during the winter, our boats come out of the water. They're fully serviced. I know at the moment the bases are getting ready for obviously starting again in April, which is very exciting because obviously we only cruise from April to October. So our customers again can be in the full knowledge that all of those boats are fully serviced. And as Pierre said, if any queries or questions, there's always somebody that they can contact.
Yeah, great. And whilst we're talking about incidents, I suppose it's probably worth bringing up the holiday insurance or type of boat, not holiday insurance as such, boating insurance. Like if you hire a car out when you're abroad, you have to have special insurance, which is usually added by the company that you hire the car from. Is there a particular type of insurance that I would need to take out, or we or our customers would need to take out for a boating holiday?
So, I mean, there's always two insurance to keep in mind. So we as a company have the damage waiver that will cover the customers. So there's two options. The customer can either purchase the security damage waiver, where when they pay a specific fee, which reduces their liability, and on site they leave us what we call a small deposit, and when or they have the option to not purchase any damage waiver, and when they arrive on site they need to leave what we call the higher security deposit. So that's the sort of the two options to be covered for any damage towards the boat. And for the rest, I mean, personal insurance, we always recommend our customers to double check with their credit card company if they are covered or if they have personal insurances.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I hear the guys in our boating holidays reservations team talking all the time about damage waivers, etc. So that's information that's given to the customer upon booking or upon inquiry stage if they request it then, so they're well educated in advance.
Absolutely, and we always recommend that customers take out collision damage waiver exactly the same as you would, as you quite rightly said, Jenny, if you're hiring a car. So it is always worth double checking when you're making your booking and getting that collision damage waiver in place.
Yeah.
And just to give you an example, I mean, myself, each time I take one of the boats, I actually take it, because the reality is, if you're 6 on board, you just divide it by the number of people on board, and it's it comes up to be a small fee, and like that, you're 100%. You don't need to worry whatever happens. So I actually personally, even each time, even if I have sort of now quite good experience of boating after 10 years in the business, but like that, I'm reassured. I don't need to worry about what's going to happen or what costs can be involved.
It's peace of mind, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely is. And it's we often take holidays to villas in Europe, and we'll hire a car, and we say we're not faffing about with the insurance, we're just going for the the top package, because we want to make sure that we're covered for it. And it's exactly the same, really, I suppose. And speaking of my holidays and the fact that I usually go to villas in Europe, what about the facilities on board the boats? Because they're going to differ, of course, from villas, but what is actually on a boat? I presume it would have a toilet, but it's not always a given. I've seen canal boats on the Leeds Liverpool Canal, close to where we are in Skipton, that don't have those facilities. So shower and toilet, and anything else that we can expect? Can you elaborate on that a little bit for us?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I mean, regarding what you were mentioning for a villa, you can expect on the boat, I mean, the shower, the toilets. We provide 2 towels per person on board. All the bed linen is provided as well, and you will have all the kitchen facilities. So, it's really, like if you're hiring a camping van, you're going to have everything you need inside. So, and also, depending on the model, often you have 2 or 3 bathrooms, and so you have 2 or 3 toilets each time. So yeah, I mean, you don't need to necessarily share the toilets with your friends, versus which you would probably do in the villa, for example. So no, everybody can have their sort of private space.
Yeah, and you've got several different classes of boats, from what I understand. Could you tell us a little bit more about those and how they differ from each other, whether it's size or the facilities on board?
Correct. So we have boats. So we have sort of budget boats, and then we have comfort plus, and we have premium boats. So the differences will be sort of the facilities and the age of the boat. So the premium boats are going to be the sort of the top of the range, the newest fleet we have. So right now it's all our Horizon fleet, and then just a few months ago, we removed our Vision boats from our premium category to Comfort Plus, because we decided that even if they are fantastic boats, they've had a certain age. So we've decided to move them into the Comfort Plus. Like that, people will, it will match perfectly people's expectations as well. So it comes as so yeah, I would and the Horizon, our brand new models, will have sort of all the latest facilities on board, so USB socket plugs, so you're going to really feel sort of on Comfort Plus and Horizon, you're going to really feel just like at home. On a Vision boat, you can plug your computer in your bedroom, just like if you were at home. So I even feel it's a bit cheeky, because you don't necessarily have the concept that you're on a boat. So it all depends what people need, but even on the budget or comfort, you will find all the standards required, everything you do need as well. So there's nothing missing on the boats. And one of the questions we have often is there heating on board? Yes, of course, there's heating on all the boats. So no need to worry if it's a bit chilly in the morning or in the evenings, depending on where you're cruising. There's always there's heating on every one of our boats. And for the air cooling and air conditionings will be more on the Comfort Plus and Premium fleet. So and then again, depending when you're cruising and where you're cruising, it can be useful or not.
Yeah. And in terms of sizes of these boats, so I don't know whether there's a difference if you are looking towards like the budget class in size and the premium class. Is it a case of one is designed for a smaller number of people and one is bigger, or could you still do the premium class for 2 people and the same as you could do it for, say, 8? Or I actually don't know what your maximum capacity is, so that would be a good question to ask.
Let me tell you then. So we have boats from 2 to 12 people. The 2 is the sort of minimum required, because we always need 2 adults on board at all times. And then 12 is the maximum for non-licenses boats. And then we're really lucky, because we actually have over 800 boats in total. So we will always have a boat to match your party and your party size and your party budget as well. So no worries there. So we can have a Horizon, which will be the first Horizon model, which will be a 2+2. So it can accommodate 2 people easily, or 2 people with children. And at the same time, you can have a Caprice boat, which is a budget boat, which is 2+1. So each time we will have in each category, we will have what's necessary for your party.
Oh, great. That is good to know. And one of the things that we were talking about when we were considering booking this boating holiday was that we would take my partner Jamie's nieces and nephew along with us. So we would be 2 adults and 3 children, but their ages are 6, 8 and 14. So we probably need a relatively largish boat because of the configuration.
You also have the possibility to use the saloon part, so you can convert the living room into an extra bedroom. So sometimes you could need if in your case, for example, you could have a 2 cabin, and the 14-year-old could probably go in his own in the saloon area, for example. So that, or if needed, you can also have a 3 cabin boat. So it's really easy to to find exactly what matches depending on the party size and who needs to share or not.
Yeah, that's really good. And age-wise, so is there a minimum age? A 6-year-old would be okay on a boating holiday?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no minimum. All we need is 2 adults minimum, and then you can add as many kids as you do like. And also, we provide life jackets on board. So there is if there is kids, the base will make sure that the life jackets match the the size of the kids as well. So there's no worries on that side. And already on board, if your boat is a 6 berth, you will find 6 life jackets already stashed on the boat. So and if the maximum is 8 on that boat, you will find 8 life jackets on board. We make sure that security is our priority.
Yeah, that's super reassuring. Definitely will be for the parents as well. And Julie, you touched on before about people bringing their dogs on board, and we were a family that acquired a dog during lockdown, and a little Cavapoo. She's lovely, but she's not used to being on her own. And we've actually started to plan our holidays around Ruby and where we can possibly take her. And bringing a dog on a boating holidays, it's a big plus point for us. What are the sort of requirements or criteria with regards to pets in terms of numbers, etc.?
Oh yeah, we've got 2 types of sort of dog owners now. We've got our traditional dog owners have always taken, their best friend on a holiday, and then quite rightly, you've got a whole new set of dog owners who during lockdown acquired a pup or acquired a rescue dog and are now thinking, we want to take them away with us, but where do we start? And I think, to be perfectly honest with you, LeBoat is fabulous. We can take up to 2 dogs on one of the boats. We do charge a slight pet supplement, but that's only £55 per dog. So, please don't be put off by that. But can you imagine? It's absolutely incredible. You've got your own space for the dog. Obviously, you can take them off on walks. You can have adventures with them. You can sit outside a little pub on the River Thames. The dog is part of the holiday. Yeah. And to be perfectly honest with you, dogs love boats. It's the excitement of seeing the world pass them by. They're always on the top deck. They're always watching and seeing everything's going. And of course, the great thing with the boat as well is you can moor up as you go along. So if you suddenly decide, we need to take the dog out for a little walk, then of course you can just moor up, take the dog out and have some fun. Believe me, I think the dog actually, if it could book a holiday, would book on the boat, and you would just have to come along with it. It is amazing. And of course, as we said earlier, we do staycations within the UK, and obviously you would need to look at pet passports and the regulations, etc., to take your dog overseas. But within the UK, obviously, no problems at all. You just need to let us know that you're bringing the dogs when you book, so that we can recommend the right boat for you and your best friend.
That was going to be one of my questions, actually, Julia. Do you have boats that are specifically for pets, and some that are kept that don't have pets at all on board?
So all the boats can accommodate pets.
Okay.
There is some boats that are better for pets than others, because some have ladders to access the top deck. So if the dog isn't a gymnast, for example, it's best to not have a ladder. But yeah, and then again, we have experts who can make sure that over the phone to give the right accommodation and give the right knowledge to our partners and customers. So no worries at all in terms of finding the right boat. There's two things to add for pets. Is also, if you are thinking about going abroad, no worries as well, because our bases are used to having customers with pets, and used to giving you the information for the vets. So you have the vet appointment before going back, so they can organize that for you. So that's pretty easy as well, and you don't need to worry about it. And also, if needed, you can also bring along a pet life jacket. So often some of our customers purchase one up front, so like that they can wear it for their. So we don't have any at base. That's often a question we do have. So there's none that we don't supply any, but it's really easy to buy one on the internet, for example.
Absolutely. And as I say, they love watching the ducks, they love watching the swans. Obviously they bark at other dogs going along the towpaths, etc. But it really is an adventure, and I think for the owners nowadays as well, especially if you've got dogs, as we said, who haven't been left during lockdown, who aren't maybe as socially aware as maybe older dogs, then taking your dog on a holiday is perfect peace of mind for the owner and perfect fun for our furry friends.
You made me smile then, Julia, because you were saying, the dog isn't used to being left alone, which our dog isn't used to being left alone, but actually I think she quite enjoys the peace. So when people say, has your dog got separation anxiety, I think the answer to that is no, but I do. I miss her when she's not here, so it'd be great that we can take her with us.
Absolutely. As I say, we do short breaks. So even if you're planning to go 2 weeks to the sunshine, but you still want to take your dog, you can imagine going up to Scotland, up into the Highlands with a dog. They would have an amazing time. The River Thames is full of quirky little places to visit, and also jump on a ferry to Ireland, and have an amazing time there. And as I say, just check out the pet passports if you're going to take them overseas, but obviously in the UK, no problems at all.
Yeah, and just talking about that, and hopping on ferries, and even for travel within Europe, because this is my thought process, that it would probably be a European boating holiday that we would be looking to do. So either going on the Channel Tunnel. I wanted to say Eurostar then. I wouldn't be able to take my car on the Eurostar. That's impossible. So on the tunnel or on a ferry. What at the other end? So I've got a car. Is there do you offer parking facilities at the bases, or is it a case of I look for a car park somewhere and find my own parking?
No, I mean most of our boat yards have on-site facilities, so either a garage or a secured parking, and the ones that don't, you can easily just park in front of the base. Like I said, out of the 10 I've done, I've left my car either in the base facilities or just in front of the base. A lot of the bases are in the countryside, so you've got easy open parking just in front anyway. So no, it's pretty easy, and you don't need to worry about arriving and not finding space. That's never going to happen.
Okay, great. Do you book that in advance then to make sure you've got space, or is that just not necessary?
I mean, it's always best to book extras in advance, because if you order them up front, you actually get a better rate than on site. So it's always best to and like that, you don't need to worry about anything. Any extra, if you purchase in advance, at least you've got it. So especially Wi-Fi, stand-up paddleboards, bikes, things that can be limited in numbers. It's always best, definitely if you want them. Don't leave it to the last minute. Just book it up front and make sure that when you arrive, it's there for you.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good point, that, we have bikes that customers can hire, pop them on the back of the boat, moor up, take yourself off for a nice little cycle, etc. This is really good. You can also hire barbecues, so that if you fancy a barbecue at the end of the evening, again, by the side of the river, everything's there for you, and all of the extras are available. Book in advance, and as you say, exactly the same as you would do with any other holiday, and then you know exactly what to expect. And the base can sort it all out for you before arrival.
Yeah, and all the journeys go back to the same base. So if you're setting off from one base, you come back to that base, especially if your car's parked there, or is it You're laughing. Is that not the case?
No, I mean that's going to really depend on the customer's choice. So in a lot of, like Jenny said Judah said at the start of the conversation, we have 35 bases. So that gives a lot of options in terms of one-way cruises as well. So you can start at one place and finish at another. And the question you're going to say right now is, what happens to my car? Well, really easy. We can have someone from the base take your car from the A base to the B base. So when you arrive at the end of the cruise, all you have to do is stash your things back in the car and off you go. So it's pretty easy. But then again, if you're not confident, you don't want someone to drive your car, and you prefer to leave it on site, you just come back to the first point, and your car will be waiting there for you. So it's really up to you to customize your cruise as you wish.
Okay, yeah. So both journeys, so you can either do an out and back to the same base, or you can do from one base to another base. I guess as a novice boater, it's possibly better in terms of time to do an out and back, is it? So you're not dictated on how much cruising you have to do to reach a certain end point. By the end of the holiday, you could turn around and go back whenever you wanted.
And it really depends. You're going to have two types of customers as well. You're going to have the customers that it's all about the boating experience. So they cruise 7 hours a day. It's all about the boating experience. So these ones will probably love to have a sort of really long one-way cruise where they're going to do a lot of locks and and cruise 4, 5, 6 hours per day. And you have the other customers who want to sort of combine both. So so they will probably cruise 2, 3 hours in the morning, moor up somewhere, have lunch, visit the area, and then do the same the next day and start again. So it's so these ones will probably do roughly 20, 25 hours a week, and the ones that really it's all about the boating experience will do 40 to 45 hours in the week.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, no, that's good, and it's good to know that there isn't that immense pressure to get from A to B, essentially. Especially because, so I mentioned before, we're based in Skipton, we're right on the Leeds-Liverpool Canal. A couple of people I know have houseboats. They can't cruise at night on the canal. Is it the same with the cruiser boats in the UK and also in Europe? Is nighttime navigation allowed, or is it a case of you have to be moored up when it's dark?
No, you would be moored up when it's dark, but you also, in most of our destinations, you would also have locks. So you would also be relying on the lock opening and closures anyway.
Okay.
So that basically there's only in 1 or 2 areas where there's no locks at all, so you can actually cruise as soon as sort of the sun comes out and until the sun comes down. But if not, you would be relying on the lock openings anyway.
And you've covered a very valid point there, Pierre, because that's another point of having the children come along with us, is that they are obsessed with locks, or the idea of the locks on the canals. And for myself, I don't want to be on and off the boat every 5 minutes opening locks. Are they operated by lock keepers then, or is it something that you would have to do manually?
So in most of our destinations, you have so there's sort of 3 types of locks actually. So you will have the locks which are operated by lock keepers, and in some of the destinations, when the lock keeper isn't there, you can operate it yourself. You have a sort of second type of locks, which are sort of semi-automatic locks. So actually, there's a pole in the middle of the river, so you actually go under the pole with your boat, and you pull it down, and it opens the lock, and inside you go. And there's the sort of third type of locks which are really manual, where you can find them in France, for example, in the Lot and in the Charente, where that would require a little bit of effort and a little bit of strength just to sort of manually open the locks, but that's also part of the fun and the adventure, of course.
Yeah, well, I think that's what the children are thinking, but I know that will last for a couple of days, and then it will end up being my responsibility if I'm not driving the boat. So yeah, okay, well, no, that's good to know that there's a mixture, and that's something that I could discuss with the reservations team at the time of making a booking as to what the locks on that particular canal were like.
Matching the cruise with the customer's requirement. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and whilst we're talking about destinations, you offer destinations really throughout Europe. So you've got France, Holland, Belgium. You mentioned Canada before, Julia, as well, which of course is outside of Europe. You've got the UK. Where have I missed?
Italy.
You've got Netherlands, and you've got Belgium.
And Belgium, okay.
And Germany.
Which for the UK customers is the most popular out of all of those?
Definitely France. Outside of the UK, I mean, the UK is still very, very popular.
Yeah.
You know, as I said before, you know, it's wonderful to go down to the River Thames and just play on the river. You can go to Henley-on-Thames, you can go to Windsor Castle, you can go to Oxford. I mean, it's a very vibrant river. There's always something going on. There's always different places to visit. And it's really, really sort of an activity-based river. Whereas obviously, as I said before, if you go up to Scotland and you can go and watch for the Loch Ness Monster in Loch Ness, you know, if you're lucky enough to catch him. But obviously, you know, the Grand Caledonian Canal, very, very scenic, beautiful countryside, a great place to get off and do the walking, etc. And the same with Ireland to a certain extent, you know, very much sort of sit back, relax and enjoy. But, you know, the Canal du Midi in France is still the #1 destination for the UK. But obviously we do sort of Brittany, we do the Comage, you know, you can go down and see the horses in the Comage, etc. So France is still a great destination for the UK. And as I say, now that restrictions have lifted at the time of this recording, then obviously it's a fabulous, and we have seen bookings to France increase dramatically as customers look forward to obviously exploring everything that France has to offer once again.
Yeah. And one of the first questions we actually have from our UK customers tend to be, where is the best wine? So, you know, absolutely.
You take the words right out of my mouth there, Pierre. I was literally just going to say, all I'm thinking about now is a really nice glass of red and something from a French bakery. So yeah,
then we should go. Then we should start either with the Canal du Midi, or then we go into Burgundy because their red wine is amazing, or then we can go into the Lot River to have a little glass of Cahors. So no, we've got the options to match the wine. If you're a white wine person, then we're going to send you more into the Alsace region, or if you like your rosé, well, we're going to take you to the seaside part and offer you the Camargue. So you know, we can match your wine taste to our regions. We can match whatever you enjoy in terms of food. We can match it towards the best destination possible.
Yeah, perfect. That sounds wonderful. And in terms of sort of, I know pricing will vary depending on the class of boat that you go for, the number of people that you've got on. But how does it work in terms of sort of shoulder season and peak pricing? Do you have sort of months that are higher priced than others? Is that based on, you know, like popularity? Like with cruising holidays, we often find that, you know, the months of May, September, October are probably the most expensive if you were looking for a river cruise in Europe, for example, and August and July are a little bit cheaper. Does it work the same, or are the shoulder seasons a little bit different and the peaks?
It would actually probably work the opposite, actually, quite honestly. So the sort of our peak season tends to be sort of June, July, into sort of mid-August. Then you're going to see the price decrease, and the sort of the outer season, April and October, will have the sort of the best bargains in terms of opportunities. And also, you know, sometimes it's also really nice months because everybody, the kids will be in school or things like that. So they will give good opportunities to discover, especially for new beginners as well. And so often in France, you know, the end of season in France, September, October, has really good weather to offer as well. So no, there's definitely a good opportunity there. And you know, our prices will vary depending on the model and the size of the boat. So and sort of each time you take the price and you have a look at the number of people they can accommodate on board, the price per person can be pretty attractive, actually.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can you give us an example pricing? So if we were the 5 of us, 2 adults, 3 children, going to the Canal du Midi at the beginning of May?
Yes, so
I won't hold you to it. Just sort of an average.
No, of course. Well, you know that it's going to depend if we look at the 2-cabin boat and we add the saloon area, or if we go for a 3-cabin. But early May you can sort of have a starting price around £1,500, and then if we sort of go into and then if we sort of start going into the Comfort Plus Premium range, we can be around 3,000 to 4,000 depending on the actual model. But to match your party with the kids, we can definitely find something around 1,800, 2,000, which will really match your requirements.
Yeah,
I
no,
remember
that's, I mean, that's really competitive when I think about what we're paying, you know, to go on holidays when we got the flights and the villa, etc. It's that's really reasonable. So that's
It
good
is.
to know. Really good to
Remember,
know.
that's per boat. It's not per
Yes.
person. So always remember that it's the boat price that you're paying. So if there's 4 or 5 of you on board, you divide that between the number of people on board. So, you know, it is a very, very affordable way.
Yeah, no, that's great. And this whole talk has been fantastic and really, really helpful and useful. So thank you ever so much to both of you for your time today and talking me into a boating holiday, because you've certainly done that. Just before you go, quick question, personal question. What's your favourite destination and why?
For me, as I say, I don't know, I've spoken about it before, but it's got to be the Thames, because I just love the hustle bustle, all the different places. You can moor up and you can go to quirky towns, villages, you can go to the local pub for a beautiful lunch. But then obviously with France as well, I'm a bit like you, Jenny, you know, crusty bread, some French cheese, a good bottle of wine, and it's perfect as well. But for me, I just think, you know, especially, I think we've all fallen back in love with the UK over the last 2 years. We've all done a lot of different trips to a lot of different places within the UK that we probably hadn't been to since childhood. And I think it's a great way to re-explore the country that you're in. So for me, it would be the River Thames. But for Pierre, it would be...
It's going to be 2 actually. I'm going to give the first one will be the Camargue, down in the south of France, because you can actually enjoy the beach. You can enjoy horse riding, cycling. So you know, if you want a sport adventure, that's possible. It's also an area where there's just a few locks. So you know, if you're a beginner, it's an opportunity to just try 2 or 3 locks during the week, and literally that's it. So that would be for the adventure part. For the food and wine part, I would definitely choose Burgundy. I fell in love when I went there. I fell in love with the food and the wine. Most of the little restaurants have sort of, you know, little grandma recipes and a fantastic bottle of red wine to go with it. So a mix of both would be actually perfect for me.
Sounds good. Well, listen, thank you very much. And to everyone who's been listening to the webinar, thank you for listening to us. I really hope that this has helped you understand what you might expect from a boating holiday and being inspired to look at or to book a boating holiday. You can, of course, have a look at our fantastic choice of boating holidays on our website at www.boatingholidays.com, or you can give our team of boating holiday experts a call on 01756 701 200, and we're open Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. and on a Saturday until 10 a.m. from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. and we will be very happy to answer any questions or to help you book your boating holiday. And I think, Julia, you have an exclusive special offer, if I'm correct, for anyone who books a LeBoat holiday between the 10th of February and the 18th of February.
Absolutely. As I say, so thank you very much for time listening to our webinar and listening to Jenny, Pierre and myself. So for anybody that books a LeBoat holiday between the 10th of February and the 18th of February, we'll give an exclusive £100 off for any bookings over 7 nights or more. And as I say, come on board, welcome on board. And, you know, let's get you on your first boating holiday, or let's get you returning to your boating holidays in 2022 and have the fun and the adventure that a boating holiday can offer.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. From me, Pierre and Julia, that's everything. We hope you enjoyed listening. And yeah, thank you.